here we are. All right, look. We're on the couch to talk about important stuff.
We are.
Because a lot of people are struggling.
Yes.
But I don't know. I almost don't think it's their fault. Like,
right.
A lot of people don't have any direction.
Yeah, I mean, how do you blame somebody if they don't know?
I mean, it's pretty easy to blame them, but they still don't know, and it's not going to help.
Yeah.
So the goal is just, we've both heard the lie. Everyone's probably heard the lie that your first year of marriage sucks.
Yeah. It's, like, honestly kind of annoying.
I mean, it's a big time lie.
It is a lie.
It does sound like you might need to go get Sloan in a second. So
yes.
She might join the pod for the very first one.
Yes.
Maybe she's just an attention seeker.
No.
She could be. Who knows? But here's the win, is that we just, I don't know, I want to help people with their marriage and make it not terrible and help with divorce rates and make sure people aren't miserable.
Absolutely.
Because it shouldn't be miserable. At least last time I checked, it shouldn't be.
I mean, you would think it shouldn't be, right?
That's a lot of people's expectation. There she is. All right, Bug, bring her over. Hi, honey. You look like you had a great nap, babe.
All right, Sloanie.
You just wake up mad from a nap. Like, where am I? Who am I? I've never been in this room. All right, well, she's joining for the first one. So that's the goal. We want to jump on. We want to do this consistent. We want to help people with their marriage. So if you're watching this and you can help us out by, hit a sub, share it, invite a friend, watch it with your husband or your wife, have some good discussions.
Yeah.
Send us some questions, send us some topics, whatever it is, but we want to help. We just want to help. That's the win. We want to help.
Absolutely.
I don't know. What do you want to add?
I mean, I don't. I believe that marriage is a really fun thing, and I think that it's meant to be fun. I think it's meant to be, you're a team, you become one. It's not a me versus you thing, and I just feel like there's so many misconceptions and just lies that have plagued what marriage is supposed to be.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I want to help people have successful, fun, happy marriages that they can thrive in.
That's it. Okay, so really, let's do it like this. So we've been married, 10 years, going on 11, or 11 years going on 12?
All right, guys, we're going to have to do this again.
It's been 11 years going on 12.
Yeah, it'll be 12.
It'll be 12 next September.
Yes.
We got a couple little nuggets. One is 9. She's a grown woman.
She acts like a grown woman.
Yeah, one is 7 and very soon, and he's a wild man. And then we got this little nugget hanging out here trying to roll off. But I think we've done a decent job. We're not perfect, but we want to help. So
and I mean,
it's like not coming from a place of authority.
Well, and I think that's the cool part, right? It's like, it's not that we're on here claiming that we're some, marriage counselors and professionals, but I would say
what's worked for us.
We've had an awesome 11 years.
Yeah, look, I only think you've wanted to deeply injure me a few times every year. I don't know. I don't think that I've made you super upset where you want to cause a lot of injury, and you haven't done that to me, so that's good. That's helpful.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been a lot of fun. So let's start real quick. So we got married, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And look, we came in with zero budget. That was a wild conversation. Cool, we're going to have $40 extra a week.
We're going to have no money.
This is so much fun. Bought a house, which was awesome. That was a big win, was being able to buy a house right off the jump, not wasting our money and renting, any of that stuff. And we just jumped right in. So let's talk about it. So the first year, most people say is going to be miserable and terrible and hard and tough, and ours wasn't. And
no.
I don't think we've had a bad year, maybe a bad night, but not a bad year.
We've had moments here and there, but not anything that I would say takes you know, well, this year was, I can't wait for it to be over because our marriage was sucky.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, anytime it sucks, someone's not doing what they should.
Right.
And that's the hard part. Because, like, I don't know, I think how God designed it is if each person is doing their part, it's not bad. It just gets bad when people stop doing their part. So, what do you think I did good in that, like, first year to make it not be a terrible first year? What are some things that you think I did?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think there are things that you still do. I think you are very driven. So you have a plan and a vision for just life. Sloan's
bow just magically appeared.
Thanks.
From a hand. Please go sit down, Bo.
This is real time, guys. This is real time.
Our producer is making sure that
our family,
our daughter looks
our
great.
Children are here.
You thought it was a marriage pod. It's a family pod. We lied.
Oh my word.
You got lied to. You got tricked. No, it's okay. It can stay there. It's all right. It's all right.
All right. Well, so like I was saying, you have always been a visionary. You've always had a vision. You've always had such plan and determination. And I think just your drive, and it's all around. It's not just like in one area of your life. I think you're just a very driven person. So I think that helped kind of bring a sense of security, and still does, because, you know, like we just mentioned, you know, we didn't come out or get married with $1 million, you know, which we still don't have $1 million.
That would have been awesome.
But
not yet.
We were in, like, you know, the first parts of life in a marriage where it was very minimal, and
$40 and $10 a week in an allowance.
Yeah. So, you know, we had to get creative, but you had a drive to, like, okay, I'm going to make sure it's on me to provide and come up with more, you know, to provide more income or make this happen. It was never well, we're both screwed and I don't know what we're going to do. You know, it was always, you've always just had an attitude of, like, this is my job and I'm going to own it. So I've always felt a great sense of security because you've always just gone after, well, I'm going to make it happen. Well, I'm just going to do it because I'm going to own it because it's my responsibility.
Yeah. I hate to lose.
Yeah, I think that's probably
that's like half of it.
Yeah, I mean, but I think also, you know, I think you're pretty level-headed and understanding, so.
Aww. Just picking.
But that's helpful, you know. So when we did come to those hard moments of trying to figure out how to do a life together and live a life together, you know, I think for the most part, like we've said, we've had a couple hard nights or arguments, but I think mostly we have good discussions or can talk about, you know.
Yeah. Most of it gets flushed out pretty easy. Like, what's the point in just, like...
And you didn't let me stay in my feelings, you know. I know early on, and I think sometimes I can be this way, but, like, I'm very much more so in the beginning was a bottler, so I would just, like, hold on to things and then want to be left alone.
Yell at me about
and then not talk
the temperature
about it
in the house.
You know? Yeah. And say mean things about how cold it is.
It's a wild argument. I won't tell you what she said, but it was naughty.
We've grown.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important, is, like, addressing things and not just letting them linger.
Yeah,
because then it gets ugly. Because things are always an attitude before an action.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I think just your drive, and I think a big one is your security with yourself. You're confident. And I think that's absolutely probably the most important thing that you've remained consistent in. And even when we were married, as a young man, like, you know, what? How old were you? 21.
21.
You know, but honestly, I mean, for a 21-year-old, it wasn't like this, like, insecure little boy. I mean, you are confident. you know, and I think that's also important, is to have that level of confidence and knowing what role you're to play and
Yeah. I mean, insecurity
who you are, and, you know,
destructive.
yeah. I mean, there's just a list of things, but those are some of the biggest, you know.
Yeah. I think those are super important. Like, the man has to provide.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying the woman doesn't have to like do anything or can't, but you better provide.
Yeah.
And work to like make it better for your family. Like, dude, my parents did pretty good, but I want to do even better for my kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be able to do more for people, and it's just important. And you know what I think one of the things too is like we've never been like extremely financially driven, but we've definitely been like driven with a goal for like greater generosity. Yeah. Which I think is important out of both of us. Like even inside of the providing, like, well, I want to be more generous towards my family and towards other people. So with that, like, well, I'm not doing it just so we can have more. Right. Well, I'm doing it so we can be more generous. Yeah. Which I think is important. Like even down to the motivation is big. Yeah. And I've seen people just destroy themselves and their spouse over insecurities, like with projecting and you know, trying to get validation elsewhere, and it's just it's super unhealthy. Especially, you know, if you're young and you're going to be getting married, you better be confident in who you are.
You have to be. Both parties have to be confident.
Well, there's like a balance, though, right? Like confident in who you are, but also like humble enough.
Yeah, not a prideful.
Yeah, humble enough to like hear about yourself sometimes, and humble enough to not have to force your way on every single thing that occurs. For sure. Because that's going to get ugly.
Yeah, humility. And I think that's, you know, it's important too. You know, there's got to be a level of...
We're just going to be authentic with this. This is Sloan right now. This is not a happy lady.
Truest form.
Yeah, not a happy lady.
Authentic. So, listen, you don't have to worry about us faking anything, because here we go.
Yeah. What a nice lady, saying such nice things about me.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear my side of this. You know, what did I do?
Well, number one, I think that you've always been like very honoring, which is important. And I don't know, I've seen a lot of guys just get like, for lack of better words, neutered by their spouse because they're not honoring. That's true. And that's not like kissing feet honoring. That's just like, hey, respectful. Respectful. I love you. I see that you're working hard. I want to respect you. And that's literally Bible. It's like the wife's not even called to love her husband. She's called to respect her husband, which is crazy. And we'll get into all those fun, cool Bible passages about all this. But I think that was a big one, is like honoring. And I just know, like, I wouldn't do good if you like outrightly like blasted me publicly or like disagreed with me in a room full of people hard. Like that just, I don't know. I don't think anyone likes that. No. Especially from their spouse. So that's been really good. That's been those hard conversations need to happen like behind closed doors. That's like a bedroom conversation of like, hey, oh, ha, 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 like, this, like, oh, my husband murdered somebody. No, he would never do that. And then like, did you do that? Yeah. What the heck is going on?
You go to bat, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in absolutely. Public, it's like, no, that's my man. But in private, it's like, what are you doing?
What are you thinking?
What is happening right now? On? Don't make me look stupid. Yeah. So that's been really good. Another one is like just, you're leadable, which is nice, where it's like, hey, we're going to try this. Okay. Just like fill me in. And I haven't always been good at filling you in on all the details on what we're doing. Yes. Just because you just didn't like work in the office with it and stuff. So I definitely have to even still be better at like, hey, here's what's happening. But pretty easy to lead, which is nice. Like it's hard if you're trying to like, as a man, be like, hey, God said I'm the leader of the house and this is what we're supposed to be doing. And you're like, that's stupid. I don't want to be a part of that. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like now I have to try to fight this and drag you up the hill or just abandon whatever's in my heart. Right. And that's like,
And
good luck.
I mean, I think that's another thing, you know, wives I've seen where they just are so not on board with what their husband wants to do or the vision that God's given their husband.
Yeah, like, why'd you even marry him, dude?
No, I have no interest in doing any of those things. And it's like,
yeah, why'd you marry him? Just because you're supposed to get married once you're a Christian or whatever? It's weird.
Like, not an accessory, you know. We were talking about with some people the other night is like how so many people nowadays treat marriage as if it's an accessory to life.
Yeah, it's so true.
And then
a baby.
Yeah, and it's not. It's not at all. Like, you know, I believe that, I don't believe there's the one, but I believe that God brings people together that have common interests and can dominate, you know, in his kingdom. And I think it's really important that as a wife, you need to be supportive, you know, and on board. Yeah,
even if you're not like, I know there's probably been things like, we're going to do this. And be like, all right. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't mean it's like, oh, you're super gung-ho excited about everything, but it's like willing to give it a shot and see, you know?
Yeah, and that is, that S word that people don't like.
Submission.
Oh,
I'll say it for you.
That's that S word people don't want to get murdered in the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say murdered on, I don't want to get unalived on YouTube real quick. But no, that's a genuine thing is.
Yeah.
And then, like, even just faking it if you have to, like, I love this. This is the best.
I think
you've done really good at that, and that's been helpful because there's definitely things I'm like, all right, we're gonna shoot it, we're gonna try it, we're gonna see what happens. I'm like, why'd we do that? That was kind of dumb. You're like, I wasn't gonna say it in the moment, but it's just cool to like have someone who'd be like, all right, let's do it, let's try it. And then the other one I'd say is like, you're flexible. The lifestyle that I have is way different than anything you grew up with, and it was like, no, this is kind of what we do with life, and you had never experienced what I do with life or how I wanted life to look like, and you're like, all right, yeah, that's what we do then. And that was really nice, is it's like, I mean, the life we live is a very shared life. It's not like we run home to our house and like it's very private, like it's shared with a lot of people all the time, and that's very abnormal. And we had a teenager living with us for a while. That's a shared life. That's a heck of a lot. That's flexibility. So I think those things have been like really, really good. And if they weren't there, you know, the submission, the honor, the flexibility, I don't think that it would have been very easy at all. Now that doesn't mean that we didn't have like some decent arguments or some figuring out on like, well, what the heck is this? But I really believe that two people that claim to be Christians, if they can't figure something out, then one of them's not listening to the Bible or the voice of God in their life.
I agree.
That's on that, like, you got to grow up. You got to figure something out. That's unacceptable. And I think that's really just where like most people land, is they get hard-headed about what they want in whatever area, and they'll just stand on that, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you just want this to be awful, don't you? You want this to be hard, don't you? Over your own it's crazy to me, like, people will die on the hill of their own personal preference and be miserable in their marriage just be like, is it really worth dying on that hill so you can have a miserable marriage?
And
that's both ways.
It is. You know, I don't know. I obviously had to learn a lot, you know, coming in, because
I'm a good teacher.
I mean, but really, and I think this kind of goes, you know, if you're really someone who's about the Word of God, you know, you're going to read it with the intention to apply it to life.
Absolutely.
You don't, you know, I know there's people out there who like to try to pick and choose what works for them with the Word, but you know, if we're about it, we're going to be about all of the Word. And some of it is confrontational. Some of it is challenging. Some of it is new that we've never dealt with or applied before. But I think it's just so important that we're willing to do that. Because if I was never willing to lay down my rebelliousness and my independence.
Rebellious.
He always has to throw shots, though, in there somewhere.
It's funny.
But
To me, it's funny.
But genuinely, I mean, those were things that I still see in marriages. Like the woman is, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for being independent and learning things and trying to figure things out. But if you really agree to get into a marriage, like you're saying, I'm willing to lay down my independence, which really can turn in and really be a self of pride.
Yeah.
To say I'm going to let this man lead my life and our family. I mean, that's like a massive thing, but that's what the word instructs us to do.
Yeah, well, I think the things that you named and the things that I named are cool because they're like actual genuine biblical roles.
Yeah.
And that's where people mess it up, is they like just don't play their role.
They only base things off of like
feelings,
preference, or personality.
TVs, or even not only that, but like what they saw their parents do.
Right,
it's like,
that's a massive one.
Well, you're going to ruin all of it because they've been through divorce after divorce or whatever craziness happened in their life.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the basis of all of what we've been able to build has just been like, you do your role.
Yes, that's huge.
No matter what. Like, even if the other person isn't doing their role,
you still do yours.
You're still responsible to God, really.
Yeah.
That's what you said when you're getting married, is like, I'll do the part that you said I should do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they're not going to, I'm going to.
Right.
Because I made a commitment to God. And this is what God's like expectations were for me. So, so I'm going to do it. And because like, I don't know, just how many people have we seen where they're like, no, forget that, they won't do this. But it's like, yeah, but now you're ruining everything God asked you to do.
Yeah.
And now they're going to also probably resent you because you're not giving what God designed for you to give in the marriage.
Right. Well, and I mean, that's just like our natural instinct, right? Is like we shut down or say,
you're like, well, forget that.
Well, then I'm not doing this. Why did they don't deserve this? But based on a biblical life for both spouses, it's not about that. You're a team, you're one, and I just think it's too hard sometimes for people to recognize, like, this isn't about me saying, well, that's not fair, and I'm, just continue to do your part.
Yeah, I mean, just most people aren't mature. I don't think most people are prepared in their emotional,
absolutely,
like, maturity to even be married.
Yeah.
They're like...
No, I think a lot of people get married that should not have gotten married yet.
Yeah, because they're not, like, emotionally mature enough to actually, like, do their role or address issues and problems and make commitments and, like, just... It's like work.
Well, I think that's the other thing, too, is there's a lot of confrontation in marriage. And I think the stigma around confrontation is usually negative and harsh and mean. So there's like this whole generation of people. I don't like
confrontation.
Who I get angry. I don't like confrontation. I will avoid it. It makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, well, sure, it's uncomfortable, but confrontation doesn't mean that it has to be mean and nasty and hard. It's true. There can be and should be healthy confrontation.
100%.
Figuring out and solving a problem.
Yeah.
And, and I'm going to say this too. I know we always try to say that, well, I guess at the bottom line, it can be a win-win. But sometimes in marriage, it's not about just win-win. Sometimes
you lose.
You do lose in a sense. And I don't mean like, you win or I lose. Like, it's not that. But it's like, okay, well, maybe this decision being made isn't my decision. But I'm going to honor it and I'm going to respect it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, I don't think it comes down to a point system.
No, and if you're keeping track, then you're the loser.
Yeah, if you're holding records.
Yeah, loser. You're the loser. Like, it's weird. It's like any team I've seen that starts holding, like you see it in sports all the time, where like a team starts losing and then they're like, it's the quarterback. It's like, it's lost.
Yep.
Just scrap it. Like, whoever the GM is, like, should just really dismantle that team.
Yeah.
Because the moment, and actually, I don't remember where I saw this a long time ago, but they said the number one thing, like, a marriage can't rebound from is when you get, like, contempt.
Yes.
Contempt.
Content.
contempt in your heart towards the other person. I just jacked up the English language.
It's already jacked.
It's a special language. But when that gets there, people can forgive cheating, they can forgive money things, they can forgive lying. But the moment you get that, like, almost like a hatred in your heart towards the other person, there won't be a forgiveness. And then it's like me versus them. Well, congratulations, you're a team against itself, and good luck. But it's not their responsibility to change that. It's your responsibility because it's your emotion. Well, they may it drives me nuts when people. Well, you're a child.
They made me. You
start saying they made me. That's what my kids say.
That's literally what our kids say.
It makes me want to.
And I don't like when they say it.
Makes me want to bless them. With a surprise.
They made me do that.
No, no one makes you.
Then I wouldn't be this way.
You're in charge. You child.
I think that's like the biggest thing is owning up and understanding your role.
They made me mad, so I said, "Wow, you just admitted that you're a child emotionally,
and you have no.
You need to grow up,
self-control, right?
But here's the thing: is like marriage doesn't have to be bad.
It does not have to be bad.
We want to help make it not bad.
We want to help make it good
with the big win. And here's the thing that people are, well, I don't really feel good listening to this first one. No, you should feel good because guess what? There's hope, and we want to help equip you with all that. And that really genuinely is the win. Is we help equip you with all of the hope, all of the tools, so that you come out on top. And I just think it's important. And walking away from this like first kind of intro is like, well, what is it? It's like, just do your role. I think is a giant key in this thing. And obviously there's so much more, but
so much more.
I think the biggest takeaway is like, do your role. And be like, well, what's my role? Well, we'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next time. But you need to know your role and do your role.
Right.
And I think that's one of the most important pieces of this whole thing. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I would totally agree.
Better not disagree with me publicly. So there we go.
We'll wait till we get off camera. No, I agree. I think that's a massive part in it is, if once you know what your responsibilities are as a husband or a wife, then it's pretty easy to step into like, okay, now I can, and even if this is all new, if maybe you're out of a line where nobody ever got married in your family, like there are easy principles to follow and to start applying to your life that I think really can make for a great marriage. So it's not hopeless if you don't know or what. And that's the thing, like, don't ever use the excuse, well, I've never had it. We never, we didn't grow up and people weren't married around us. And
that's the most annoying
excuses, excuses to not excel, excuses to not change.
Well, just think about how, like, again, that goes to immaturity. Is like, well, I just don't know. Dude, this thing has everything, like,
absolutely
0.3 seconds away from finding out. Like, if you're going to take the responsibility to be married, take the responsibility to equip yourself with what you need to do to have a successful marriage. Like, will you drag somebody into a marriage just so you can, boink? I said boink. Just so you can boink and then never take responsibility for yourself and like what you're supposed to do because I didn't know. No, it's laziness.
Yeah, that's laziness.
But here's the win. It's like, if you can take control of what you're supposed to do, then it won't be bad. It won't be ugly. No one gets married with a plan to get divorced. No one gets married hoping, like, I'm going to be miserable with them the rest of my life.
Right.
That's not it. So, like, you have to take responsibility. And if you don't, it's going to get ugly.
It is. It absolutely is. So, just learning and stepping into it and being gracious with each other. If you've both committed, okay, we're going to do this, then, have a little grace for each other.
True. It's super
Nobody's going to be perfect. This is still a learning curve. There's still things I'm learning every day. Like I said, we don't have a perfect marriage. It's 12 years. I mean,
you don't think it's perfect?
No, I think it's great. I know there's things I could do better.
I'm shattered right now.
And when we get off camera, I'll tell you the things that you'll
Tell me right now. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Not public.
Don't set me up. But yeah, I know that there's hope. There's hope for your marriage. There's hope to have it be happy and healthy and thriving and successful.
Yeah. So, all right, here's what, if someone's watching, which if they're watching us look at each other on a couch talking while you're holding Sloan, they're probably just looking at Sloan. Which I don't blame them. She's the best.
She's cute.
Other than throwing a fit, right? As soon as we started, perfect timing. She demanded to be a part of this thing.
Yep.
I would say like sub to the YouTube channel. That way, you're in on when we're dropping these tools. Drop a comment. Say what's up. We want to know who's watching. We love you guys. And then the third one would be really simple. Is just message us or leave it in the comments. Some of the things that you want to hear us talk about. Is obvious, like this kind of just shooting in the dark, but we want to answer questions. We got a bunch of stuff we want to talk about, which we think people kind of miss on. And then, in the future, like I think it'd be cool to kind of like talk to some other couples, talk to some older, more mature couples who've been married for a long time, some new couples.
There's always more to learn.
There's so many cool people we can talk to that we know, but just drop a bunch of stuff, leave some comments, some ideas, some thoughts, and we want to see you win. And maybe you're like, well, I don't know. They said I was lazy and emotionally immature. Well, I love you. That's why I said it.
Honestly.
And we're going to help you grow up because marriage should win.
Yes.
And God put it together for good things. Not for a miserable thing. Bible says if you found a wife, you found a good thing. So let's keep the good thing a good thing. And let's keep building on it. You want to say bye?
Bye, guys.
See you.